Hey everybody, welcome to another drive-through rundown. I just wanted to give a quick overview of the new Ascension expansion, Rise of Vigil. I just got this today actually and had a chance to play 3 games of it today. And so this is kind of my quick initial impressions. Anybody that watches my stuff regularly or speaks to me knows that I'm a huge Ascension nut. So let me just jump right into it. So this is a full expansion. You're going to get 4 of these starter decks here, and you can see there's new art on here. And again, I'm a huge fan of this guy's art. These are the apprentice cards here, a little bit different take. Here is a militia card. I kind of like this, sort of a dark forested type of thing. And then there's going to be 1 extra card now added to your normal 8 apprentice and 2 militia. You have these energy shards here. And I'll explain a little bit more in detail what these are, but you can see this is going to generate for you 1 energy and then allow you to draw a card. So there'll be more energy shards that you can get, and they're all the same. They're always going to provide 1 energy, and then they're sort of a cantrip. They're not going to, eat up space in your deck. They're going to allow you to get the next card in your deck. We've got our buddy the Cultist here. You'll notice there's no Fanatic. There's no events that come with this. We have our Mystics here, and these are also new. This is quite a different look here, sort of a Buddhist kind of meditative type of looking guy there, with some smoke going around, some different colored smoke. And we've got our heavy infantry here, and we've got a female character here who looks pretty buff. Got a nice suit of armor there, some nice art. So enough of the art. We've got here a giant stack of cards here. And in here there's 130 cards. Now there's 100 normal cards here. I set some aside here. These are some of my favorites, at least for now. And then you've got 30 of these energy shards inside here. So there's actually 60 of these that come with the game. And what you basically do, what the rules tell you to do, is you take 30 of these, you mix them with the base set. Now, if you were to mix this set with another large set, like the original Chronicles of the Godslayer or a Storm of Souls, you'd put the other 30 in there to, maintain consistency. But if you combine this with a smaller expansion, then you can take 20 of these. So there's some configurability you can do to mess with, the frequency that these energy shards come up. And if you look here, you can see this is a treasure here. So what's going to happen is after you say you got a center row here and you start acquiring cards and flipping cards out to replace the cards that were in the center row. Anytime you flip out an energy shard, it's going to go on the spot that you either killed or acquired a card, and then you're going to draw another card to replace it, or sit on top of it, I should say. So if you get multiple of these, let's say we drew 3 energy shards in a row, and the next one we drew was this Portabilit, I can't even pronounce that. That will go on top of that. So as soon as you acquire this, then you're also going to grab the energy shards and put that in your deck. If there's a monster on top of there, after you defeat the monster, you get whatever reward is there, and then these are going to go in your deck. And then again, these are going to regenerate for you 1 energy and allow you to draw the following card. So what is this energy now? Now we've got a 3rd resource. We've got runes for acquiring heroes and constructs. We've got powers for defeating monsters. Now we've got a 3rd resource for energy. Now this is an interesting resource because when you generate energy, when you create the energy with these cards and a couple of the other cards from the center row, you're not actually ever going to spend it. It's like a threshold that you're going to meet. So let's take a look at this first card. This is one of the cards that I like here. So when you buy this guy and then you put him in your deck, you're going to play him later. It's going to say defeat a monster that costs 4 or less without paying its cost, kind of like the Arha Templar in the first set. So you play that, and normally you just defeat, a monster or whatever. You could defeat the cultist. But if you've energized or created or played 3 energy here, instead defeat any monster without paying its cost. So it could be a big monster. It doesn't have to be 4 or less. So because I've hit that energy threshold of 3, then I'm able to do this bonus effect. Now, if this card here was in the center row, you can see normally you defeat him with 3. You gain 3 energy there, and then if you hit the energy threshold of 2, in addition to the 3 victory points you're going to get, you're also going to gain 2 more runes. So if you had played this and then defeated this in the same turn, even if you've only generated 3 energy, you'll be able to do both because again you don't spend the energy. Now let me just make a quick little review statement here. These turns can get massive. especially at the end of the game. There are a lot of constructs here that are going to key off of the energy, like this one here. If you hit 5 energy, then once per turn you can draw a card. And there's a bunch of constructs like that that are going to do all kinds of different effects based on the amount of energy that you've generated. And again, remember that you start off basically being able to generate, one energy, not every turn, but, it's going to come up relatively frequently. And once you see these guys come up in the center row, this is a very, very interesting thing, because you don't know what cards this is going to come under. It may come under a sort of a cheap card. You may get, 2 or 3 of these under a cheap card that costs 3 or even 1. So you'd be foolish, in my opinion, at least from my early plays, not to just get that, because once you get some nice energy flow, and remember, these don't clog up your deck, then you're going to be able to do a lot of the cool effects and to get a lot of the nice, awesome little combos that are so prevalent in this game. So, I can't stress enough. It seems obvious. The game, the set is about energy. It's about, getting energy and getting the combos. But, man, you just got to go for these and really get some cool effects. And it really changes up the pace of the game, I think probably the most drastically out of any of the sets that have come out. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the cards I'm liking so far, just to give you a little bit of sense what you're going to expect here. So this one is called Augo Demon Trap here. It's a construct. Normally you get 1 power per turn. If you energize it up to 4, then you can gain 3. Now that's kind of like, some of the older cards where you would gain power and then maybe spend runes, to get some points. But this one, you don't really necessarily have to do anything. You just got to get the energy in your deck. It's going to burn through your deck anyway, and you're going to be able to generate points here. Twisted Tyrant. Now this one is just kind of ridiculous here. This one's 6 power, 6 points, and then if you hit energize, you're just going to draw 3 cards. Yeah, that's never good, right? Once per turn, you may pay 2 less to acquire a card with treasure under it. And this is cool because, you're going to reduce the cost of cards and maybe get some for free, get expensive cards a little cheaper, a little quicker. I really like this card. Temporal Eye, there's a few copies of this in the game. This is kind of like the Time Bandit thing from the first set where you can take a turn. So except for this one, when it comes into play, you're going to be able to draw a card. And then if you have 2 of these, you can banish this one and another one and take another turn. So that's kind of cool. I always like stuff like that. This is a different one here. So when this enters the center row, for each treasure under this, each player draws a card. Because remember, you fill the center row, you have some treasures come in here, and then boom, you play this one. Okay, in this case, everybody would draw 2 cards from its fate effect. So that's kind of neat too. This one here, you gain 2, energize 1, you may banish a card from your hand or discard pile. Again, with you really not having to, do anything extra, you just got to have that energy kind of flowing through your deck. This one I really like. Acquire a hero with cost 4 or less without paying its cost, and then if you energize it, instead acquire any hero. This guy only costs you 4. 2 energy is not super difficult to get. So, wow. For a 4 cost, acquire any hero without paying its cost. Yeah, wow. So here's another one. We've still got some trophies in here. Let's see, gain 2. You may banish this here to gain 2 energy. Man, that can really, put you over the top as far as your energy threshold. Here's a cool one. She costs 7. Gain 4. Energize. Gain an additional 1 power on top of the 4 for each energy you have gained this turn. So she can generate a lot of power. Here's just an insane guy. He's sort of your big daddy monster here, Herald of Doom. So it says here, gain 6, acquire or defeat a card in the center row without paying its cost. That's sort of like the Godslayer guy from the first one. And then if you energize a 7, which, it can be difficult, but it's definitely not unheard of. And then instead, acquire and defeat all cards in the center row. Okay. And then this one here, this is a cool one. I like this one. Basically, when he comes into play, if there's a treasure under him, for each treasure, you're going to add 10 points, of the little beads here into the honor pool. Sort of extend the game a little bit and make your turns even nuttier. Okay. Gain 2, energize 3, gain an additional 2, so you're gaining 4 there. Maybe my favorite card in the set here, except for this one, Omnitron. So when this guy enters the center row for each treasure under it, you're actually going to add a new slot to the center row, because normally you have 6 cards. If he comes in on the top of 2 treasures there, you're going to draw 2 more out. You're going to have 8 cards. It's going to stay like that for the rest of the game. Now you're going to have 8 cards to choose from. So a lot more choice, a lot more ways to make your turns kind of pop off. this is just fun and cool, and I would probably seed the deck so that came out every time if I had my choice. Here is my favorite card. This is my favorite card because he cost 1. He's only worth 1 honor. You play this, acquire a mystic or heavy infantry without paying its cost. Sort of like the Arha Sensei, where you could banish a card and then get one of these 2 in your hand. But this one will just let you acquire it. However, if you energize for 1, put the acquired card into your hand. So this guy is just my favorite card in the set. Because he is sort of the catalyst for a lot of turns in the games that I've played, to be able to sort of, because just getting a free 2 runes or free 2 power is just really, that a lot of times it seems like it's going to just bump you up to that sort of next threshold. So again, this really, I don't know, I think there may be mixed sort of views on this. This may be a little bit too much for some people. I think it's great, because I've played this game probably, I'm exaggerating, but like 1,000 times, especially with the iPad app and stuff. And I've played it at least 100 in person. And it's just, this one adds a little bit of extra layers of analysis paralysis, probably. Definitely not one you'd break out with new players to the game. Unless they, are just, super familiar with gaming and deck building in general. I would at least play one game with one of the other sets, I guess. I don't know. But this one is, you're just going to add in the extra layer. And because this is persistent, it just adds that. It's hard to explain, but the process and the mental process that I'm using to figure out what I'm supposed to do really changes up with this, because it's a persistent thing. I'm not spending it. So I may have like 5 constructs, and I'm triggering each one of those things and then trying to figure out what order to trigger those in. I don't have to worry about paying for anything. They're just there, and I can just, start popping them off. And especially if you get a tight deck and you're blowing through energy every time, you're going to have a lot of stuff you can do every single turn. So anyway, this is fun. I'm having a blast with it, so I'm going to keep playing it. And anyway, that's the new set. So if anybody was curious, there you go.